It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning, welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. On this, the 14th day of November 2022, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, Central Virginia area. I just got back from the having an echocardiogram this morning, so been kind of running like crazy today, and I just realized that some of the stuff I had set up is now disappeared, so let me grab that real quick. But anyway, welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News, and I've got one complaint to make, folks. When I left the house this morning, it was 26 degrees. Oh my God, I need to get on another boat. Get out of this. I can't stand cold weather anymore. So yeah, freeze my butt off today. All right, this is Monday Travel and Cruise Industry News. The lead story today is a good story for a change. Passenger wins $500,000 during a slot tournament. How about that? Then not so good news, the outbreak on the Majestic Princess. We'll talk about that a little bit this morning. Carnival Terminal Change, and a lot more live at 11. There wasn't a whole lot of news this morning, actually, for a day that's upside down for me. Today is National Pickle Day. I don't mind eating pickles. I recently, I get cramps in my hands all the time from the chemo after effects. So I get a lot of cramps, and everybody says, drink more water. I drink a lot of water. So recently I was told to drink pickle juice. I tried that. That was wicked. It took care of the cramps, though. So does mustard. When they get really bad at night, I'll go get a teaspoon of mustard, and that helps. Anyway, that's me. So, if you're listening by the podcast, always welcome aboard. You can access the podcast, especially now that I'm home and have a decent Wi-Fi. Access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from, all the big guys. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat travel guy. We do this 5 days a week. Anytime that you're listening to the podcast, if you would like to hop over to the video feed, there's always a link in the description. Just click over it, and you can jump on the video feed and check out any pictures, clips, or whatever we might have on that day's show. One brief announcement to make, and that's about the show tomorrow. Some of you know, I've talked about it. I've got a numerous bunch of appointments while I'm home this time, the medical stuff. I have one tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. So tomorrow's show will be pre-recorded and go live, on YouTube at 11 o'clock. I will try to promote the links out so you can easily access it, but it will be on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook at 11 o'clock tomorrow. But it will be a pre-recorded show, which means there won't be a chat room. So, sorry about that. All right. I'll be back with a couple news stories after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. And the top story today has to do with a Carnival ship, the Carnival Marid Gras. Carnival Cruise Line's $1 million slot tournament on board the Marid Gras concluded this week with a lucky moment for one guest on board. Carnival's largest casino tournament to date concluded with an award ceremony where the tournament winner was awarded the top prize of $500,000. More than 1,600 people of the 5,400 guests on board participated in the tournament, making it the largest tournament to date on board a Carnival cruise ship. Besides the top prize, there were big prizes to be won all around, including $150,000 second prize, $50,000 third prize. 2 more $1 million slot tournaments will be held in the coming 2 years. One on the Carnival Celebration and another one on the Carnival Jubilee. So if you're a mind to get in those, folks, have at it. Book it. Book it, Dano. I have some kind of strange feelings about this story. Number one, I've pretty much stayed away from these stories recently because I didn't want to put a bad light on the industry. But this one, for a specific reason, I've got to share it with you. Following a cruise to New Zealand, Majestic Princess returned to Sydney with 800 positive COVID cases on board. About halfway through the 12-day cruise, Princess reported an elevated amount of positive test results, which ended up being 800 guests infected by the end of the voyage. The ship being placed under the highest alert. Carnival Australia stated that the cruise line found a high number of cases during mass testing done throughout the vessel. Those guests who have tested negative have been allowed to depart, while positive cases have been separated and taken off the ship through a different route. They didn't specify specifically how that was carried out and what kind of quarantine or whatever had to go through. It would certainly be easy to blame Princess Cruises, as I'm not going to mention any names, but some people in the industry are doing. Again, those that have a tendency to try to shed the negative light on the cruise industry at all costs. They're claiming it was all Princess' fault. But according to several reports, the cruise line followed all the procedures to the limit. However, one passenger said to ABC News in Australia that the passengers did not follow the protocols. And I quote, "It was scary because we heard about it, but we tested negative, and the Princess Majestic crew were really good with the protocols. We wore masks for the last 7 days. We were very careful when we were ashore, so some people just didn't listen. Obviously, they didn't follow the rules, and that was the problem. People just don't take COVID seriously." Boy, does that sound familiar, folks? We have a lot of that same problem in this country, and that's going to lead to maybe another wave of COVID during the winter months. I hate to say that, but it's true. I went to the hospital, get my echocardiogram this morning. I had to go back to wearing a mask while I was there. They've gone back to masking in health facilities here. Did I complain? Absolutely not. But there will be people that will complain about that. I'm not making a political statement. I'm stating facts. Do I want to see us back in masks again all the time? No. But I bet you that this case in Australia is not going to be the norm down there. It hasn't been the norm so far on other ships down there. This is going to be the strange one. That's my feelings about it. All right, Carnival, and there was a lot of complaining about this one. I'm not sure I agree with the complaints. Carnival Cruise Line has informed guests about a terminal change for the Carnival Magic sailing out of Port Canaveral yesterday. The cruise line sent a communication letting guests know that the ship will use two different terminals for embarkation and disembarkation. Embarkation from yesterday's sailing will out of Terminal 3. However, when the ship returns on November 13th, disembarkation will be through Terminal 6. For those people that were specifically, as a matter of fact, they had the chance of parking, they knew about it ahead of time. If you were driving, you could park at Terminal 6 and they shuttled you back to Terminal 3. I'm sure that they're going to do something at disembarkation for the people that parked at Terminal 3 and have to go back to Terminal 3 to get their cars. So they're going to take care of the people that are doing that. So what's there to complain about? One of my recent cruises, Serenade of the Seas, did exactly the same thing, only we didn't know about it ahead of time. That was out of Tampa, not out of Port Canaveral, and it had just happened to be the same numbers. We sailed out of Terminal 3, and we came back into Terminal 6. It didn't make any difference to me. All I did was, tell Uber where I was, and they picked me up at Terminal 6. But yeah, I could see where that could cause a problem if you parked there, at the port. Parked at one terminal lot and have to go for another one. So, but then the cruise lines are trying to help out the people that were in that situation. I just don't see what the big deal is. I mean, other than that, if you're picked up and dropped off, or like me in an Uber, who cares? It doesn't make the cruise any longer or any shorter. I mean, hell, it's, 50 yards apart, or maybe not, maybe a little longer than that. But still, to me, it's not worth complaining about. Yeah. That's the news for today. There wasn't a whole lot. Tomorrow, when I have to tape the show early, there'll probably be 95 stories. Just wait and see. All right, let's go see who's fussing at me over here in the chat room today. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Eddie. Hotter Tom's with us. Eddie says, I know the feeling. That's why we live in Georgia now. Man, that was, especially after I just got back from 3 cruises in the Caribbean and had wonderful weather, except for the hurricane that kept us out at sea. A little rough the last couple of days, but that's okay. But man, I get here and it's 26 degrees. Oh my God. Well, you see what I'm wearing. I got a hoodie on. I had a coat on when I went to the doctor this morning. Robert's with us. Good to see you again, Robert. At least a few of you so far. Yeah. Let's see. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. See, there's somebody, he's used to the cold weather. 26 degrees for Kenneth is a Not me, not anymore. I got sentenced to 20 years in Pittsburgh. So I was up there a long time, and that's really cold. I admit Virginia is much milder than Pennsylvania. I understand that, but still doesn't make it any colder for me. And boy, would I really be miserable if I still lived in Pennsylvania as I've gotten older. Wow. Nikki's with us. Greetings to all. It was 52 degrees this morning in Jacksonville. Now, see, that's cold for Jacksonville. I'd be freezing down there, too. Wintertime in North Florida. Well, Nikki, it is Thanksgiving almost. My sister and brother-in-law will be gone. They're going up to my brother-in-law's family up in Morgantown, West Virginia for the holiday. So this be me and Amanda. I promise you one thing, we're not going to be cooking that day. So we'll go out someplace that has turkey. Knowing Amanda, she'll want to go out to her little country place that we like. They have good seafood. They have banana pudding. I'm sure they'll have turkey. Amanda's not real crazy about eating turkey. I am. I love turkey. So I'm going to want a turkey dinner wherever we go. But it's not going to be here at the house. Of course, everybody's chatting back and forth. Everybody's complaining about the cold. I agree. Hey, Mike, how's Mike today? By the way, folks, it was very interesting. Some of you saw it, some of you didn't. I did a show yesterday with all the people for Cruises for Solos. And Pete and the Cruises for Solo organization that I've been involved with for, since it started. And Passion for Cruises have joined forces. They recently did a hosted solo cruise on the MSC Virtuoso with 300 solo cabins. Plus, there was another 100 solo cabins on the ship that weren't part of the Passion for Cruises gang. 400 solo cabins on a cruise ship, folks. So Pete is going to be, his next one that he's going to host will be on a new MSC ship down in Qatar, I think it is, that he goes in January. Allison and Lizzie Lou, both that have been on this show numerous times, they are both working with Passion for Cruises now. They're both going to be hosting cruises in 2023. And we are about to announce, I can't announce it yet because the final T's aren't crossed and I's dotted. But sometime in 2023, Mr. Bucket List and I are going to be hosting a solo cruise for you solo cruisers out there. That doesn't mean, folks, that if you're a couple, you can't go on the cruise with us. We'll do some meet and greets. We'll do some morning coffees with everybody. We'll make arrangements if people want to get together in the dining room or get together on excursions. We'll be a clearinghouse for everybody in the group. You can certainly be involved in all that. I'm not going to kick you out because you happen to be married with a spouse or partner or whatever. But yeah, as soon as I know the ship and the dates, it will be out on just know this much at this point. It's going to be from one of the Florida ports. Beyond that, I'm not allowed to say anything until everything is finalized. It will be on one of the subsidiaries of Passion for Cruises. So by extension, will be also part of the Cruises for Solo gang as well. So those of you that were with us yesterday heard a little bit about it yesterday on the show, as well as a number of the hosted group cruises from Europe. If you're going to Europe anytime soon and you're interested in any of that kind of thing, let me know. I'll put you to the right people over there because they are some wonderful, wonderful opportunities. The Passions for Cruises, they kind of reverse engineer the old group cruise process. They go to the cruise line and say, okay, we're going to guarantee you 50 or 100 or whatever the number is, solo cabins inside, ocean view, balcony, whatever. What are you going to do for us? And they're completely cutting out the 100% solo add-ons. So as a result, you end up with some really terrific bargains. So we're going to host the first one sometime in 2023. And as hopefully things go well, there might be several in 2023. And by the time we get to 2024, we hope to have a full contingency of solo cruises here from stateside as well. So we're working on it, folks. Working on it. Anyway, Mike was with us yesterday. Robert says, I'd really like to talk about the whole COVID situation with you sometime, Chillie, like somewhere other than this chat room, as not to offend or upset anyone. That's fine. Robert, send me your contact information. I don't think I have it. Phone number, email address, text number, whatever you want to do. ChillieFalls@gmail is my email address, Chilliefalls@gmail. And yeah, I'd be happy to sit down and chat about it privately. Eddie says, Nikki going to your neck of the woods this Saturday to see a friend from Miami. That's cool. Kenneth said, we're doing good. We're cold, waiting for our next cruise in January. Robert says, sounds great. Yeah, who are you going on this time, Kenneth? I know you've told me and I don't remember. There's Rich. Good luck with all your medical tests. Now, this one, the pulmonologist ordered it when I saw him. Well, it's probably been 6 weeks ago now, maybe 2 months ago. I still have a lot of problems with my breathing. Now, I'm fine sitting here. Most of the time, I'm fine sitting on my scooter. But what's been happening, if I have to walk more than about 10 yards, I'm totally out of breath, huffing and puffing and gasping for air. Now, when I got home Saturday, admittedly, I was tired, pressured to get home. You know how it is when you're trying to get home as quick as you can. You're already late a day. And then unloading the car, getting the luggage out, and getting it in the house. And I was struggling for breathing. And of course, I have to stop and I have to sit down and I have to get my breath back before I can do the next thing. But anyway, all day Saturday, I struggled. I stayed, kept my oxygen going full time. I'd even take oxygen with me to go to the bathroom, to go in to eat. By yesterday, when I was rested, I had a good night's sleep. Then I started walking around the house a little without oxygen and not getting out of breath. So I don't know if that's an improvement or what, but yeah, I haven't been able to do that for, I don't know, 6 months, maybe 8 months. So it had just gotten really bad. And then I started with the inhaler thing that's $400 it cost me out of pocket. And that seemed to make me cough more than helping me. Actually, on the last cruise, I started coughing so bad, I quit squirting it. And the cough went away. So when I got home, I started back on it again until I go to the doctor and he says, okay, if it's making you cough, we'll do away with that and try something else. But now that I'm seeing some improvement now, then maybe I have to rethink that thing. But anyway, that's what's going on. Rich, I do have to go because I missed Friday. I was supposed to be back Friday afternoon in time to go to my oncologist because it's time for my Lupron injection. That's the shot in the butt. I hate to be graphic about it, but it's a shot in the buttocks, as it were. And get the PSA to make sure this $11,000 a month medication is still doing its job, and my PSA is still down like next to nothing. So they called right as I was going on the air to give me my new appointments. I'll call him back as soon as I get off the air to see what day they want me to come in, which might be this afternoon. Who knows? But anyway, I'll go do that when the time's right. Other than that, Rich, I'm not worried about anything right now. I'm feeling, as good as I could feel with all of my health issues and my mobility issues and stuff. Yeah, except it's cold. I want to get on a damn boat again. I'm sorry, but I'm happiest on a cruise ship. I don't want to be sitting here in my studio in Virginia talking about cruising. I'd rather be out there and talking about cruising. So that was a world cruise. Oh yeah, I talked with my agent last night. I said, okay, I got to find out about the Scooter out there, and what they're going to do for these next 3 cruises. And then it's time to start talking to these cruise lines now, maybe on some of these long cruises, and seeing what kind of package we can put together with them, like a world cruise or circumnavigating South America cruise, the things that I can't afford to do. So let's go see what we can shake out of the trees. So we'll see what happens. I think it would be just terrific to be able to broadcast this show from around the world. I could dig it. Even with Wi-Fi headaches, I could dig it. And I'm sure there would be days that I absolutely couldn't broadcast from weird places. But I'd sure like to try. And maybe one of these days, and I did send a message to Elon Musk and say, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to come up with something so I can go on cruise ships and be able to, have my own personal Starlink without it costing me $1 bazillion. It's got to be affordable. Or even better, maybe you sponsor me doing this to prove that you can provide us Wi-Fi around the world. Wouldn't that be good advertising, Elon Musk? I might even buy a Tesla if you do that. Anyway, so Kenneth says we're lucky if we can go on 2 a year. It's hard to get away. I wish I could take care of them as service dogs. Oh, yeah, that would be nice. We're going Carnival in January and Princess in Hawaii in September. Yeah. Now, Carnival, I have not done an accessibility report for Carnival yet because, like Serenade of the Seas, it was much better than I expected it would be. But one of the problems with Carnival, my handicap accessible room, the door had 1 inch of clearance from the wheels on my scooter. Can you imagine a big fat guy like me on a scooter, especially after there may have been an adult beverage or 2 or 3 or 4, trying to steer a scooter through a door with 1 inch of clearance outside the wheels of the scooter? That was a trip. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't take films of that myself. I didn't have anybody there to film it. But yeah, that was a challenge. That was one of the 2 strikes I had against Carnival, and they were minor ones. Because eventually I did come up with a way of doing it. And the first way I did it was to get off the scooter in the hall and back it into the room by hand so I could look down at the wheels and lean over it and back it. Only I kept running over my foot. That didn't work out so good. I said, no. But I did eventually. I figured because I could drive out in the morning without it hitting. I could line it up going through. I said, I got to be able to come back in the same way. Finally, I got so I could do it. That was a challenge on Carnival. I'm just throwing it. And that's nothing against Carnival because everything else about that cruise was as good as any cruise ship I've been on for accessibility issues. All the things that count. The public restrooms, the way they handle mobility challenge folks in the dining rooms. They don't make you get off your scooter unless you just want to. If you want to stay on the scooter like I do, they have no problem with pulling chairs out. You pull right up to the table, turn the chair around, and so you're sitting like a normal person. They were perfectly fine with that. Like all pools, all ships, the pools I don't consider them accessible. If you can walk a little bit, you can get in the water. If you can't walk at all, but I did see a lift chair on Carnival, so they did have a lift chair, but I didn't see anybody use it. So there is one that you could get into the pools or the hot tubs via the lift. I choose not to do that, but then I can walk a little bit, so I'm not forced to absolutely. If I want to get in the water, I've got to go that way. So, but anyway, that accessibility report will be out in the next day or two. Serenade, I did the video portion of it. I'm only about half done with the written portion of it because I gave out yesterday. I had so much that I'm behind on and stuff here at the house too that I didn't finish up writing it. So hopefully the written portion will get done today and it'll be up on the blog. So let's see what else we got here. Emma doing the vloggers cruise. Okay. Oh, you're doing the vloggers cruise, Eddie. Yeah, I knew that. I will be on that one also. Alice told me that she will book the next one after we get back from the vloggers because she works at a hospital where she does the payroll for the ER department. So she's tight. Yeah, I understand that one. So, and yeah, I admit one thing, folks. Now that I'm retired, yeah, it's easy for me to get away. So yeah, I can do that. And I told the Passion for Cruises people, anytime you want a cruise hosted in the States, you got my phone number. Just call me. I'll be there. I'll be happy to do that. And whatever it takes on the cruise, I think it would be fun. I've done groups before, so I know what it's like to have to shuffle people around and direct people and things like that. I promise you, if I host a cruise, you're going to have fun. Ask Cindy, ask Hot Air Tom and his Cindy. They've been on cruises with me. I do believe in having a good time. And it's hard not to have a good time around me. I can guarantee on that. So, but anyway, that's the way it goes. I don't know that I'll be able to do 23 cruises next year. I'd love to. Then I like to do fewer, longer. And end up with the same number of days at sea. That would be cool. I really want to do some of these big bucket list things that I'm not poor, but I can't afford to go on a world cruise. I would like to come up with some way of underwriting some of those costs. On even like the South American cruise, it's not a cheapie either. So I'd like to do a Viking cruise. I'd like to experience a Viking cruise. That again, that's more money than I would tend to spend on a cruise ship normally. But that's me. So All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, tomorrow, the show will be pre-recorded. It'll be on as usual. And then when I get home, hopefully I'll be okay to maybe I'll do a live stream or something tomorrow afternoon or whatever. But anyway, the show will be pre-recorded in the morning, so there won't be a chat room tomorrow. Sorry about that. I'll be back Wednesday as normal at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Wednesday Travel and Cruise Industry News. So that's it for today, folks. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fantastic day. It's the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.